There are no tropical cyclones set to develop across the Caribbean or the Atlantic, at least for the next few days. But as we are in September, we are in between the peaks of our wet season. The first peak is usually at August, and the next one is in November. So obviously we're in a bit of a trough, but that does not mean that we won't see any rainfall. And in fact, yet another tropical wave is set to come across the island chain. It is set to be a weak one, but it will still likely bring lots of moisture and also the possibility of some of those thundery bursts as well. But most of that activity should be just sliding from Tobago down towards Trinidad and eventually out towards Venezuela. So as you go through the next few days, do watch out for just a bit more in terms of the cloudiness, especially through Thursday. And eventually we begin to see some clearing of the skies by the time we get to later on a Friday and into Saturday. And meanwhile, out in the Atlantic, we have a large expanse of Saharan dust here, and we'll likely continue to see this piling across the Eastern Caribbean from Saturday and going into Sunday. So it seems as though by the time we get to the weekend, there'll be very little chance of us seeing some showers there. That Saharan dust should be in charge by then. So for Tobago then, still a bit of cloudiness that to slip through from Charlottesville down towards Palatuvier as well as Roxborough. So a scattering of showers is expected as you go through your morning and into the early part of the afternoon. But there will still be some sunshine there, especially out towards those eastern areas. Now for Trinidad tonight, a scattering of showers expected from Turco into Manzanilla as well as down towards Maraval. We continue to see a lot more of that cloudiness slipping south from Turco, coming through Blanchisseuse and eventually into central and southern areas. But for the most part, you will continue to see some sunshine peeking out in between those clouds. Now down towards the southern areas along the south coast through the Columbus Channel, the winds will be from the east-southeast. So what that means is that the moisture will be pushing through into Guaraguari, Moruga, and also possibly pushing some moisture into San Fernando. So there's a slight chance of a thunder shower erupting around the Gulf of Paria then. But for tonight, 24 degrees Celsius, so feeling relatively mild. Tomorrow will feel warm, 33 expected in Trinidad, 32 across in Tobago. We'll likely feel a bit more comfortable there. Now, by the time we get to Friday, the breeze will definitely be a factor. You'll notice the palms swaying, flags rippling as well, and it will just tie in with that Saharan dust plume pushing through by the end of the working week. And it will likely extend into the weekend. It's quite large, and obviously we could be seeing a hazy weekend for both Trinidad and Tobago. Now for those heading offshore, especially passing that tropical wave, you notice the winds shift to the east-southeast, 15 knots for the most part, maybe touching 20 at times, with a moderate east-northeasterly swells of 8 seconds, and still some sea spray and white-capping activity expected about 2 meters offshore in the Atlantic. And you've got your high tide, only 1 at 1 p.m. Now, across the Eastern Caribbean, it's been mostly settled, at least towards the north in terms of the Leeward Islands. There's a bit of Saharan dust set to push through there. But towards the south, there has been some thundery showers coming through, all courtesy of that tropical wave just ahead of it. And they'll continue to see a bit more of that as they go through their Thursday. So we'll start then our tour down towards Grenada. A few heavy showers likely, 30 degrees Celsius there on the mainland. Georgetown will continue to see some of those heavier bursts. And up towards Leeward Islands, thick haze for St. John's as well as for Bastia. And that Saharan dust will eventually begin to make inroads into Santo Domingo. But just before that, they'll continue to see what's 1 or 2 showery spells on a Wednesday. Up towards Port-au-Prince, the upper level trough will continue to spark some thunder clouds there. And then down towards Kingston as well. There's still a likelihood of some of those showery bursts turning thundery across Kingston. So that's your weather, and that's it from me.